Yeah, doctors are extremists, man. Doctors are extremists. Grab that microphone over there, so if you say something, we can like catch it on.
But you know what's been wrong with all that shit? You know,
No, I don't.
there's all these a lot of these studies and these trials and stuff like that. They do them, but they do them under the wrong light.
Are they?
There's that word again.
Shit in people's eyes again.
Yeah.
Like,
but you know, whatever. You know,
I think they do. I think they do really extreme experiments when they do experiments like that. Like, we're gonna find out if UV light damages somebody's eyes, and they'll like shoot a laser in their fucking eyeball or something like.
Shoot
that.
it in mine, bro.
Do.
I'm a biohacker.
Okay.
Shoot it in my eye. We'll fucking put it to the test.
All right, you heard it here first.
Right. So we're doing a scientific
If
study.
there's any doctors
I'm telling you right now, we're doing this
study.
scientific study with no blue light present, okay?
Okay.
Because then it's just going to skew over fucking
But the
all
UV,
of the
but
research.
the UV light is okay.
Of course, yeah. Any natural light on the spectrum, man, is all right.
But if it's UV light from like a black,
You got UV light, you got VUV
What if it's
light,
like a
you got
laser-
like infrared light, near infrared light.
laser that's like shot into your eyeball with ultraviolet light frequencies.
Yeah, bring it,
Yeah,
brother.
you good
Yep.
with that? Okay.
Hell yeah.
But everything else natural. But just that one is good if it's a laser.
I mean, it's part of the natural light, though.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the natural lights that's
So
emitted
anything
from.
in the light spectrum.
Yes.
So any type of light that exists, you're good with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, timing of the day is a little bit different, right? You know, so
Oh, so you don't
want like
like
a bright infrared light shining in your eye at nighttime.
You'd only do the experiment during the daytime, but you'd be willing to do it. Doctors,
Yes, absolutely.
listen up.
Absolutely.
Y'all
Bring it
listen up.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna get my own
Doctors-
doctor on this and stuff like
Okay.
that, right?
Yeah. Get him available. Call him up. Tell him.
Not these extremists.
Who's
I don't want any extremists doing these
I need
studies.
a recommendation for a doctor actually, because the place I went to get my blood work is kind of retarded.
That regenerator place?
No. That place, that guy's cool, but I mean, I don't have $20,000 to pay him. But the Clinica de Americas or what? It's like a fucking clinic I found on my insurance, just to get blood work done and sent to the lab.
You can do your own blood work, right?
I
Just looking
guess.
at that. They send you a little kit and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just kind of do it yourself, and then.
Yeah. I mean, I've never done that. I don't. That would be an interesting experience for sure. I don't enjoy it at all. Like I don't like needles. I don't want to see any of that shit. No. Nope.
They don't really bother me. I was taking testosterone for a little bit.
They fucking miss the vein all the time.
Don't go there.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The place is whack. I'm like, it's just some people that just, I think feels like the doctors, actually, a couple of the doctors are really nice. And, you know, they're like, they're telling me some information that checks out, you know, that's like, you know, don't need to worry as much necessarily about your BMI as much as like your waist measurement, which is what is important in determining diabetic reactions and insulin resistance, is the truncal fat, right? So if you measure that and be able to get rid of that
abdominal fat, right?
That's where you're going to start getting. That's where you're going to start seeing. Yeah, they call it truncal fat. So anything that's in the trunk region. But it's easily measured by your waist measurement. And that's going to give you a good indicator if you're losing weight. I'm sorry, if you're staying the same weight, but you're losing inches off your waist, because like I'm doing weight training and cardio, both. So I'm gaining some muscle, but I'm also losing fat at the same time.
So that means you're losing fat, not lean muscle mass.
My weight is stabilized.
Yeah,
right.
That's good.
But I'm still losing like inches off my waist.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's kind of stabilized right now too. Over the last month or so, I'm not like pushing hard in any direction. I'm just kind of like trying to make this, for me, what's more important is creating the habit and making it a part of a lifestyle, because then it's a permanent thing. Because I don't want to go on a diet and then come off the diet and be like, oh yeah, I'm good. And then 6 months later, I'm like, what happened? Well, you didn't make it a habit, you know? So the important part really is making it into a lifestyle.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a big believer in that.
I'm gonna add shooting myself in the eye with UV lasers though. I'm gonna start trying to do that.
Let me do the research first. I'll sacrifice myself first.
That's okay, but I'll be part of the experiment. I'll take one for the team as well. Like, let's.
No, I'll tell you. Look, so I mean, there's something to like. Man, I could tell you what I know. You know, maybe I could just send you some research. I've tried sending you some things and stuff like that. I don't know if you've.
I've watched some of the Jack Cruz videos and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, there's definitely something to all these type of holistic type, you know, practices and stuff like that. Like, you know, being your circadian biology and such. And then, you know, the grounding yourself. Can I tell you about an experience that we had yesterday?
Yeah.
So we drove to Galveston, right? Just to go and walk along the beach. Brought the dogs with us, you know. It was going to be a fun time for them. And we didn't want to go to the beach. We didn't want to go swimming. We just wanted to walk up and down. Remember, I told you that's the beach is the greatest place to ground yourself because of the water and the salt that's in it. So what I also learned, too, is that, so apparently we found this out maybe 4 years ago. There's a volcano at the bottom of the Gulf.
Cool.
Right. And it all came from, you know, what they call the KT event. Which is basically the extinction event, the meteor that came hit in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Sure.
Anyways, so now we have this volcano at the bottom of the Gulf, right? That has magma and shit like that. So with that being said, that at the Gulf of Mexico, you have the strongest electromagnetic field on the planet.
Wow.
Because of this volcano. And specifically the magma being at the bottom of the Gulf, right? So that made me, I had actually learned this on Friday and I was like, man, I gotta get Genevieve, we gotta go and do some grounding over there at the Gulf of Mexico and stuff like that. That's super
cool. So we're in like we're like one of the most energetically powerful places on the planet.
Right.
Which is probably why Houston people are actually smart enough and cool enough to boo Kamala Harris at her fucking rally, her own rally in our town, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what, bitch, get the fuck out of here.
I know, right? You know, I mean, they shouldn't have won in the first place, you know, but that was the first mistake.
That was their first
mistake.
Yeah,
like, believe in this bitch, that's your first mistake.
They went to go see Beyonce.
Oh, yeah. And they saw her.
Like,
they saw her, right? You know, that's all they did. There she is. There she goes. I know, right?
There she is, looking like a white girl with her little hair on. Like,
no, yeah. The first mistake was believing somebody who just lies to you and stuff like that. But no, that's a good little tip, man. If any of you guys want to, if you believe in grounding yourself and stuff like that, you know, go to Galveston, have a good time, man. And I'm
gonna go now.
Play some.
I'll see you later, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Ciao.
Let's go. Boom. Let's
go right now.
But we spent a good 90 minutes out there, you know?
Cool.
Straight walking and stuff like that. And it felt great.
I've always loved, and I've always intuitively felt like that being at the side of the ocean like that, like living in Lima was great because we were on the ocean.
I love being on the water.
Now, being able to actually go, because the beaches there or like the coastline there is very rocky. It's not like California's central north and central coastline where it's like there's not a whole lot of beaches per se. Some of them are there, and some of them have transplanted sand and some of them have real sand. But on the North Shore in Peru, there's great surfing and there's great beaches. And so up there, it's super cool. But I've always loved living like close to the water, close to the ocean. I've always wanted to be like close.
You get a natural breeze off of it too.
Yeah, it's more than the breeze. It's like the fucking fifth dimensional breeze. You know, it's like it really is. It's like
it helps tremendously.
It's a whole different type of energy that you get from being in those spaces.
Oh, absolutely. I lived in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Florida, I lived in the same latitude. I've lived in Orlando and I lived in Miami. World of difference between the two.
Yeah.
They're only 5 miles apart, but one's Central Florida, one's right there on the water.
They're more than 5 miles apart.
I mean, 5 hours apart.
Okay, 5 hours apart. I was like, I think Orlando, you might be thinking Fort Lauderdale.
Not even. Still not 5 miles apart.
Not 5 miles, yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It's a huge difference. Even closer, Tampa and St. Petersburg are also different. And it's the same thing. It's like they're very close to each other, but in fact, they're kind of like the same. I almost consider them the same city, really. But being in St. Pete is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
You're kind of out there on the peninsula and you're close to the water. What are you doing, Ember? You're going to be on the show? Tell us something you want. Come here. Hey.
She could take Will's spot.
Say hi. Hey, I'm Will.
She's taking Will's
I'm
spot.
doing now.
Amber's sitting in for Will. Will couldn't make it today. So we have a surprise guest for everybody.
Yeah. Amber, what did you do yesterday? Oh, I chewed on stuff and I farted. She's a good girl. Yeah. Yeah, no, the whole thing with the Rogan Trump interview, did you see it? Did you watch the whole thing? No?
Not the whole thing. I see a lot of it though.
Yeah, so I watched it kind of in pieces, you know, and then last night I watched it again on like 1.25 or 1.5 speed or something so I could kind of go through it again. And I took some notes and some timestamps and stuff like that. But honestly, I think like my hot take is that the PBD interview I actually liked better. I like PBD. I like Patrick Bet-David as an interviewer. A little bit better than Joe Rogan. It's just different, you know. It's like a little bit less. Joe's so conversational, like you don't even know that you're being interviewed.
Right.
You don't know that you're listening to an interview. You're just like watching people talk.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about Joe's interview yesterday was that you could see his like jujitsu tactics come out, because he would put down a point and then it would just come up again and again and again, and he would put pressure on it. Like he brought up, I think
his question is just overall. Yeah, we're better.
3 times during that 3 hours, he brought up Kamala Harris calling Trump a Nazi.
Yeah, Hitler, and to be specific.
Calling him Hitler. And only the 3rd time did Trump really kind of react to that and say like, she's a stupid person. She's a very
low IQ
person. Yeah. And which is probably not too far off base. I mean, to give her the benefit of the doubt, she was, you know, the AG of California, and like, you know, you have to have at least a certain level of, it's hard to say. You have to have a certain level of competence to be the attorney general of a state like California, but it's true. You do have to have a certain level of competence. I didn't say that it was a very high level in relative to other.
I'll give you that.
Maybe.
Any other state, man, would have been a good example with the exception of California, just because they let whatever happen in California, it appears.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe it's even some of it is, I'm going to go with Hanlon's razor here and say never attribute to malice what can be explained by stupidity, right? So I think maybe it's not as intentional that they're trying to destroy the state. They're just low IQ people. Yeah,
but that doesn't give you much of what the statement you just made, you know, having some type of competence, right?
You got to have some kind of competence, but it's really, relative to some others.
We'll give it, they got.
Maybe she could be okay as a place. Like that's.
She's not just dumb, right? Low IQ is the perfect word for it. You know, she has to have some type of, you know, even a small amount of validity to be able to be, you know, that type of position.
To be an AG,
senator as well, right?
Even if you,
I don't know what time.
I don't know if I could pass the bar like on my first try.
The LSAT's really hard.
LSAT's really hard.
It's critical thinking though. You got to be a critical thinker.
Right. Well, I think they took the LSAT that they're giving in either this year or next year. They're taking out like the logic puzzle section.
Oh, perfect.
Interesting. Yeah. So,
so illogical.
So if you're looking to be a lawyer,
get rid of all logic.
If you're looking to be a lawyer, it's going to be a little bit easier now. Like they lowered the bar. There you go. There you go. That we don't even charge.
That was the hot take of the whole fucking episode right there, bro. We should have had the drums.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Yeah, no, I think I would really like to see her on something like that, on a long format conversation. Although I don't know how much about it. She just kind of has an annoying way of talking to me. It's like hard for me to actually listen and pay attention to her for more than 30 seconds or so at a time.
The best name for her. Yeah. The best name for that I heard, I think from a guy from CNN, was word salad.
Yeah,
I heard this past week and stuff, and that's exactly what it is.
They've been saying that for years. They've been saying word salad for a long time, but
I haven't watched CNN too much.
I mean, they don't say it. They say it all over the place, but
I've heard that term before, but that's a good way to explain.
She's definitely a word salad expert. She talks in circles is another way to say it. And this used to be, so for me, it's interesting to see as 47 years old and kind of watching the political stuff go on as a youngster in the 80s and 90s and see, as I'm learning about the world as a kid and watching my parents' interactions and my parents' friends' interactions, and everybody has this attitude towards politicians that they're just, they're just all talk. They're just like, they just bullshit everything that they say. You can't really ever trust them. They're just out there to try to get votes and all this kind of stuff. And it's sort of like an accepted thing. It's kind of been culturally an accepted thing. Like, oh, that's just politician talk.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're just politicking to get their way. These are all like turns of phrase that we use commonly, colloquialisms, as you would call them in the English language, that have been around for a long time. But I think what we're seeing right now, and this is a really, really cool thing. It's a really, it rises a massive gratitude in me to be alive during this time that seems very tumultuous, right? It seems like times of danger and uncertainty, which it might be as well. But I'm very grateful to be around in this age because it's similar to the rise of the printing press when the masses were really somewhat ignorant. They didn't really know how to read. They didn't know what was going on. Ignorant in the way of like that they were blind to what's actually happening, or the, the strings that actually are pulled to be able to pull the levers of power that create things in their lives. And so people didn't really understand what was going on. And then once books started being printed, they could start to see the church in a different light. And then you had like the Lutherans rise up and the Protestant revolutions and all these people that would start to challenge the authority of the centralized powers. And so we're seeing that again now. And what's going on now is that word salad, right? That politicking, the political talk that they generally go to, it's not working anymore. And they're trying to tighten the screws through the mechanisms that are under their control. So the media organizations, all of the newspapers and television channels, Hollywood, and the production of all type of media, entertainment media, as well as news media, everything that's in music culture, everything that's in their area of control, which is that they've managed to hold the reins of power for so long that they're usually, it's an oligarchy. They're the ones who have the money and the influence to be able to actually control these different points of information dissemination that are.
I think universities and schools and that too.
Universities and schools, churches, even, right? Like, so all of those. That's a great example too, because they're indoctrinating people through the school system, Department of Education, all the way up through the university, and some of them that are independent of the state universities, the private universities, are in the same kind of trouble where they're more of an indoctrination center than they are an education center, right? They're not empowering people to learn how to think critically. They're forcing people to follow critical theory type of,
and it's easy to brainwash people in those type of environments.
Yeah.
They already have. And what I mean is like, they're sitting in a classroom, or they're sitting in 4 hours on a day, all day long, right? And don't get me on this, but imagine surrounded by blue light and artificial light and stuff like that, and just hitting them, getting them addicted to this type of dopamine hit, which is the wrong type of dopamine hit that you want.
I feel like my face is melting a little bit.
That side, right? Yeah, right, probably this side too, because there's blue light everywhere.
There's blue lights. You can turn those blue lights off, actually, because of the light backlighting.
Look, I'm gonna suffer through this.
Okay.
Because on the other side is greatness.
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm going. I'm charged up, bro.
I mean, I don't want to like make you, damaged or uncomfortable or anything like that.
Yeah, man, just minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, I got time frame here.
Yes.
I go to be exposed. Right? I know you got one.
This little thing is super cool, man.
That is cool.
And I don't know if you've ever heard the Pomodoro technique. Have you ever heard of that? Aaron actually introduced me to that, because he used to do it, and he just mentioned it, and so I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty fucking cool." So you basically will set, okay, so that's going to set a 25-minute timer. And what you'll do is like start a task, set your 25-minute timer, start your task, and you concentrate on just that for 25 minutes. Turn off your phone notifications, put everything away, and do the one task you have to do for 25 minutes. When that timer goes off, you basically stop what you're doing. You have to like wrap up a couple sentences if you're writing, for example. Sure. Finish your little thing, and then you'll take 5 minutes and set it to a 5-minute timer. And that's the cool thing about this thing is that you just flip it and it changes the time.
Right.
So you can just change that from a 5 to a 25 and flip over the timer. And now you've done a Pomodoro half hour.
Right.
And it increases the productivity. Like it stops me because I'm an ADD brain. Like you can see, like I have notes from all different kinds of stuff. You know, I'm trying to start a bunch of different kinds of projects all at the same time.
That should be getting better though,
and
right?
One of them is going to work. Right. And so it's not necessarily that the ability to hold multiple items in my consciousness at the same time is a ability. It's actually a superpower. But the problem comes when I'm trying to do one thing and my brain will distract me by thinking of too many other different things. This helps that. This helps you keep focused on just that one thing, just for that 25-minute chunk. And then it'll go 25 or 30 minutes, you know, because I might have to finish up a couple things in it. And then it'll go to, okay, 5 minutes. For those 5 minutes, I'll just kick back. I'll like take some water, go make myself a tea, you know, like even go look at some blue light for 5 minutes. Go out in the sun, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, And then after that 5 minutes, you kind of have had a break and refresh, and then you come back in and do another 25-minute timer, and you set your next task. And so
I've heard that before, especially cool. Like apply with learning. You know, that's the optimal way to learn, because you know after that 25-minute mark, right? You're not focused anymore on what you're really trying to absorb.
Yeah, you're spaced out.
Yeah, so you need to take a little break. I read a book that said those exact things.
Yeah.
So I guess he was talking about the Pomodoro effect.
I mean, you were at least you concentrated enough to get through a book, you know? Some people don't even do that.
Took me longer than 25 minutes, but hey.
Yeah, most of them do. All the good ones.
But it was a book too. It was like, it taught me that, but it was because it was a book about learning more efficiently.
Oh, cool.
And also it was also teaching how to speed read.
Oh, nice.
So maybe you could knock it out in 25 minutes.
Maybe, yeah. If you read the book before you read that book, then you'd be probably like.
That was my reason for reading that book, because I was like, every other book I read from here on out, I'm gonna just be knocking them down. Now I can read more books, right?
Yeah. I like it. I should look at a book about speed reading.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one if you want it.
I read like
Jim
more
Quick.
slow and thoroughly.
Jim Quick.
I've heard that name. Yeah.
He had a really bad brain injury and stuff like that. Then he came back and just totally made his brain limitless. And coming back from that, right?
Did you take methylene blue?
See?
Did you start taking it?
Yep. Yesterday.
Yesterday you took your first one?
Yep.
You feel it?
Yeah.
You just took one pill.
So, man, you know what I felt? I didn't feel smart or anything like that. What I felt was joy.
Yeah.
I kind of felt just like, you know, peace, happy and shit like that, right? You know, and kind of energized in that way. You know, I wasn't all like, you know, riled the fuck up and shit like that. Slept really well last night.
Yeah.
You know, and I do believe, and I want to hear about your little methylene journey too. I think it's important for these people to hear it as well. Because you're gonna, how long have you been on it?
Who goes there? It's been a month.
Almost
now.
a month, right?
Yeah, it's been a month.
They say, you know, after a good 30 days and stuff like that, you know, is the good amount of time when you can really start feeling the effects of it and kind of seeing it.
Yeah. So look, I definitely feel the effects of it in like energy, but not in the same way. Because the first couple of days I felt kind of like almost jittery, almost like that ADD really was amplified, and I was like, "Whoa, man, there's a lot going on." But I was about it. I mean, not in a bad way. It was like in a really good way. I was like, dude, the opportunities are just everywhere, and like, wow. So I felt really, really good. I felt a very accentuated sense of like joy and well-being.
Yeah, well-being,
right?
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
And over like so after 2 or 3 days, that kind of, you know, very noticeable effect went away, where I've almost felt, I want to say I felt like I was resonating, like I was vibrating at a frequency that was like I'm activated. Like felt like I was in an anime. You know, I was like, oh my God, I'm like going Super Saiyan here. And it was super cool. So after a couple days, that kind of thing wears off. And then it becomes where it's more like just clarity.
Yeah.
Right. Like this thing, the little Pomodoro type of thing worked so much better.
Right.
In fact, that's when I was using my phone timer and I was like, bro, I've been doing this and it's working. I'm just going to give us $20 on Amazon. I was like, I'm going to get the actual timer and just have it on the desk. Cause I'm just doing this all the time. Cause now if I have a task, I can break it down into these little chunks and go, okay, you know, I have to do a recipe book for the saute station at KP's Kitchen or whatever. All right. Well, I'm going to do 2 recipes and it's going to take me to 25 minutes. Or I'm going to do 1 recipe and it's going to take me to 25 minutes. All right. Let me knock that out. Do the recipe, hit my timer, boom, that recipe's done. Boom, that recipe's done. And before you know it, those things like add up, you know, like a grain of sand to build a mountain.
Sure.
So yeah, that type of clarity of focus and clarity of certainty also. And you know, I'm doing a lot of manifestation work and meditation and stuff in the mornings. And that stuff became a lot more lucid. Right. It was like I was able to access a lot more of my brain space.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So now the level of certainty around projecting, I would say observing my future self is a lot more cleared. So there's a lot more clear certainty around the observation of what my future self actually is.
Yeah.
You know? And it's less doubt and less cloudiness around like, oh, well, I don't know if, or maybe this is a projection or a hope or something like that, but it's not. It's actually just it's an observation from the present and an observation of my future self. And so there's just an increased level of, I guess, peace around that. Like this is just what's going to happen next.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And that's I mean, that's gotta be enlightening for the soul. The things where well-being comes from and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm extremely excited. Yeah. Are you sleeping better?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really have too much of a problem sleeping once I started working out. The ice baths actually added a lot to that too. Yeah. I noticed when I started doing those, I mean, we were talking earlier about circadian rhythms and being able to actually keep those to where they're like your breath. You don't have to think about it, right? Like you don't have to try to go to sleep. It's like, it's time to go to sleep and I'm just going to go. And now I'm like 10 o'clock. I'm like, bro, I'm tired. It's time to go to sleep. And I'll go up there and I might fall asleep between 10 and 11 PM. But for the most part, it's like 10 and 10:30, you know? And so it doesn't take me much to actually fall asleep, and I sleep really well. And I wake up, you know, at or before my alarm. I usually will wake up maybe 20, 30 minutes before the alarm goes off. And then I'll go take a piss and come back and then kind of like give some gratitude, go into a meditative type of thing. And then when the alarm goes off, I'm ready to actually go downstairs, get my ice, pop it into the bathtub, and I do my meditation while I'm waiting for the water to cool down. But it's become really rhythmic, where and I don't hit every single day. I hit 6 out of 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Some weeks I'll hit 7, some weeks I'll hit 5, but I mean, if you want to average it out, it's like six out of 7 days a week. Where previously I would have really a tough time being hard on myself, and like if I missed a day, it would be being hard on myself would become the excuse to get off the path. You see what I mean? Like if I was trying to discipline myself to go to the gym and like lose some weight, I would go to the gym, you know, for a week or whatever, and then I would like miss a day, and I'd be like, oh, I missed it, you know, I didn't do it, and I would beat myself up, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna go fucking drink tonight, and like then I would be the next day I'd be like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hungover, so let me just fucking wait another day, and then it would go into that down cycle, and I'd feel bad for missing now 2 days in a row, and then I'd miss a third day, and then it'd be like, fuck. I'm going to occupy my mind with other things. And then I would just go get distracted and put myself into work or do some other kind of shit. But that doesn't happen anymore now. Now, if I miss a day, it's like part of, it's weird because it's kind of a paradoxical thing. It's an ironic thing that contradicts itself, but part of the cycle of being disciplined is missing days of that discipline. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody out there, but like,
yeah, unpack that a little bit.
So if you're on like a workout routine, right? And even when I was in college, I went from 180 pounds to 240 pounds in 6 months, lifting weights, going to the gym and lifting weights. And the way we did that was that we did 3 days on and 1 day off. So you'd have to take a day off from going to the gym to allow yourself to rest. Now on that 1 day off, we would do a 5-mile run. On every other day, we would do a 5-mile run on that day and on leg day. And then the other days on back and bi and chest and tri days, we would do a 3-mile run as a warm up. And so
this is when you gained all that.
That's when I gained all that weight. Yeah.
But it was muscle mass.
It was muscle mass and some fat too. But like we were in.
It sounds like you were doing a lot of movement, a lot of cardio activity, and a lot of weight training.
Yep.
Which definitely
we were doing
lean body mass.
Well, we were doing like
viscerates fat. It should
3 to 6 reps. We were doing sets of 3 to 6 reps. If we got above 6 reps, we would up the weight.
And you were fueling yourself with a lot of food,
we would take like the pre-workout stuff and creatine and all that stuff. Yeah. And that was, what was I, 24 or something like that, right? It was like 24, 25 years old. So that was a totally different body and biology than this sitting right here, which is 47 years old and been through a lot of shit since then. Right. So now going back to it, if I go and try to do that type of weight gain, it's too hard on my tendons and my joints. Right. So I have to do a little bit slower weight gain, and I'm not into doing it for that anyway. I'm not there to do it for, I'm not here to try to get to be like a Hulk, I'm just here to try to actually decrease my body fat and increase my energy levels and increase my insulin sensitivity. Yeah. So, right. Be able to actually just get my body healthier and get another 10 years out of this machine, at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, part of the process of actually doing that is that sometimes you're going to miss a day here and there, and you have to be okay with that, because when you're doing a bunch of different, now, if you're doing weight training, or, I mean, if you're there to just like get swole and be the fucking Hulk, you better not miss a day. If I was going to culinary school, like even when I was going to my own culinary school, which was working in high-end restaurants, I went to go work in those high-end restaurants, and on my days off, you know what I did? I went to go work in other high-end restaurants that I didn't work in. So I'd go knock on the door somewhere and work for free and go learn more shit. So in that sense, but even at that time, there would be days when I didn't have anything lined up, or I would go to some, like I tried to go to Per Se in a Time Warner Center in New York, Thomas Keller's restaurant. And I went and I found the loading door in the back of the restaurant. And it's just Time Warner Center, but this is like, what is that traffic circle right there called? Right in the north side of, like, that would be on the southwest side of Central Park. I mean, this is like one of the richest areas in the fucking world, And so I go in the building, and I go in. Per Se is a 3 Michelin star restaurant. It's one of the best restaurants in the world. And I go knock on the back of the door. And I was like, because I like, find my way into shit. I have my knives. I have my chef coat and chef shoes. I'm like, I'm ready to rock. And so I go knock on the door, and somebody answers the door, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here for the stage. And they're like, we don't do stages. You need for an internship? And I'm like, yeah. Kevin told me, I just made up a name. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, if I randomly, at least I have a chance. Like, if is John in there? Meant to be,
if it was meant to be, it's gonna happen.
They'll be like, which John? I'll be like, hey, you don't remember me? I met you at the Vig Bar the other night. Like, He said I could come by Stage, and I'd done that shit in other kitchens where I'd just knock on the door and be like, "Yeah, man, like I'm just here to work." And they're like, but this, I mean, Thomas Keller's kitchens are very disciplined, and there's a line 6 months in advance that you have to sign up for the internship program to go work for free in that restaurant, just to work for free. Crazy, right?
Yeah. And you just got in there, but
and so no, bullshitting. I didn't get in.
Okay,
I didn't get in there. So that was what I was saying is like some days I wouldn't make it, and it would go okay. Well, then I'm gonna go back to my apartment in Queens, and I'm gonna go to like the halal grocery, and I'm gonna go cook something at home or whatever, you know. Or I'll go to Chinatown and eat some noodles or whatever I was gonna do, and that's okay. Now I have a day off. Cool. So you do have to have some sort of. Everything moves in waves. So if you're just going constant, you're going to hit a point at some point where you do have to actually learn to let off the gas a little bit in order to give yourself a little bit of reprieve so you can come back to that gas 100%.
All right.
And so when I miss a day, I'll never miss a day completely. Like I didn't do an ice bath this morning, but I did a cold shower.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, if I have a day where I don't meditate, well, I might go an extra time to the gym or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You can miss a day, but you don't have to necessarily lose that day.
You're not losing the momentum.
Yeah.
That's what you have to be careful of losing the momentum.
If you miss doing something, then you can always do something.
You can always do something else. Yeah.
And it's not a complete loss. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like a day but you know, when you decide, hey, I'm just going to, you know, oh, I didn't go work out, I'm just gonna go drink, right?
Yeah, then that's the wrong fucking.
You made the same decision, but you went to, you know, maybe a decision that's not going to take you in an upward trajectory, right? Yeah. You know, but if you miss the day going to the gym, like, okay, then let me go and use this time to maybe meditate, or let me go read something and learn something.
Yeah.
And it's not a total loss, right? You're still gaining something.
Right.
But then, you know, even you have to take some time off from the gym, you know, if you want to go to that type of.
Right. Yeah.
You got to recover, right? You got to have recovery. So recovery and stuff like that. So maybe things are happening for a reason. You missed the gym that day because your body told you need to recover, right?
Yeah.
So then, okay, my body needs to recover. Maybe my mind needs some working out.
Yeah.
And then you just work that out. And so like, listen to your body, listen to your mind, right?
Yeah.
Listen to that inner voice. Treat yourself very.
As long as you're doing
kindly.
good things and moving forward, then
exactly.
You're
so
in
it's
a good
not
spot,
a loss,
you know?
right?
Yeah.
You know, so that's a good way too to kind of, you know, minimize and flip the script, right?
True. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's just your body telling you, man. Hey, you know, you don't need to be doing this today.
So I mean, look, I have work too, so sometimes I have to prioritize work. Some mornings I'll get up and I won't meditate. I might hit the ice bath, but I don't have time to do any meditation. I'm just going to hit the ice bath. I always wake up and do a prayer of gratitude in the morning anyway. It doesn't take any time or anything. I mean, there's no excuse to not do that really, because I'm sitting there for fucking 5 minutes to get up. All right, cool. Thanks for waking me up again. This is awesome. Let's rock and roll.
It's going to be a great day.
And then, you know, I might jump in the ice, or I might meditate for 20 minutes and then not jump in the ice. But sometimes I do have to get my day started early. So I'll come down here and I'll start my office tasks. I'll start my work to where I need to get that knocked out for the day. And I'll have more done by noon on those days than some days I get done in the whole day. You know what I mean? I'll knock out just all kinds of stuff. Boom, 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 boom. And my list is like diminished. So, and then other days I'll spend all that time between waking up all the way up till 11 or 12 o'clock. And I do all self-care during that time. I'll do all of it. I'll do the ice bath, the meditation. I'll do extra breathing with Wim Hof breathing techniques. I'll do I'll go to the gym for like an hour and a half. And then by the time I get back and take a shower, it's already like 11:30. And I'll probably make some lunch at that point. And then I'll sit down at like noon or 1 o'clock. And in the afternoon, I'll work on, but usually those are days when I have more creative type projects to work on. If I have like a task list of stuff that I need to knock out, filling out recipes or scheduling stuff or doing my my Outlook calendar, setting it up for weeks, I usually will do that stuff in the morning and just knock it out. Because then I use a Pomodoro timer and I'm like, boom, check, done, boom, check, done.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom check done.
Boom shakalaka.
Shakalaka shakaloo.
That's
Yeah,
some awesome shit, man. Let me.
All right.